Hello everyone and welcome. We're here in Yeshivat Chut Shel Chesed under the guidance of Rabbi Shalom Arush, and today we go back to something we didn't speak about in a long time. The laws of Shabbat. Today we're going to speak about an interesting topic. It's something that needs a lot of little details, which is called Amira Lenochri, which means asking a non-Jew to perform a forbidden act, something that a Jew is not allowed to do, forbidden act for us. We want to ask a non-Jew who doesn't have to keep Shabbat for him to do the melacha for me, to do the item that I want to be done. Most common question is turning on a light, putting on the air conditioning, putting on shutting the light, shutting the AC, putting on the heat, all these questions. And there's a lot of miscommunication, so to speak, that we sort of get lost along the way. And it's a question that you don't always have the ability to ask a rabbi, so you need to know the basics. So today we'll start to speak about it. It's probably going to be a class or two, but I wanted to cut it into shorter classes. So today we'll speak about the beginning. Why can't I tell a non-Jew? So this is a rabbinical law. The rabbi said that we should not go and ask non-Jewish people to do work for us. Two reasons. Number one, it says, we say in Kiddush, in Shabbat day, V'daver davar. The rabbis explained that our speech of Shabbat should be holy. To the extent, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who we celebrate his Yortzeit, his Hilula, on Lag BaOmer, he one time told his mother, obviously in a honorable fashion, he told his mother, it's Shabbat today, don't talk extra words. There's some rabbis that they only spoke Hebrew on Shabbat. They didn't speak anything else besides for the holy tongue. Our speech of Shabbat has to be different. Our speech of Shabbat should be holy. That's reason number one. Reason number two is that you can't have enjoyment of any melacha that's done on Shabbat. Whether I can tell a non-Jew to cook for me, or to heat something up, or put the light on, it might be that it's not a problem. But the rabbi said, if I'm going to tell the non-Jew, put the light on for me in this room, please. Now, this is a melacha, a item that was done on Shabbat. I can't come into the room and enjoy the pleasant lighting, the music, the AC, the heat. Okay, so this is a general rule. Anything that I can't do, anything that you can't do, whether it's from the Torah forbids us to do it, or the rabbis, you can't tell a non-Jew to do it for you. It doesn't make a difference if you told him even before Shabbat. It's on Friday, or even Sunday. Middle of the week, non-Shabbat day, I go over to the non-Jew, I say, I'm having this item in my house. I want you to come and be in charge. You turn on the lights, turn off the lights, whenever you see is needed. No, you can't do it even if I make up for him before Shabbat. It's not a problem of speaking. Like we said, we have the two reasons, the speaking or the having enjoyment. So I'm having enjoyment from the work done to him. Now, where are the loopholes? We all know that, there is something called to ask a non-Jew to perform a forbidden act for me. Yes, there is. And this is because the idea of asking a non-Jew to do something for you is a rabbinical law. The rabbi has said, and they instituted, that you can't ask someone that doesn't keep the Shabbat to do a melacha for you. So the rabbis, they're the ones that said it's a problem. They do come and they say there is a place where I say it's not a problem. For example, if there is a mitzvah to be done, or if there's a big need, or someone's not feeling good a little bit, if there's a great loss, we'll get into the details soon. But let's give examples. For a mitzvah, a person needs to go and to get a shofar or a etrog and lulav. You can tell a non-Jew on Shabbat, in this and this place, go travel a little bit and you'll find the stuff. Or if someone's not feeling so good, or a child is not feeling so good, not to the level that they have to go and be mechalel Shabbat for them, they have to go rush them to the hospital, because if that, then that's 100% mutar. person is a little sick, or there's a big loss. Something's going on in your warehouse. You can go, the rabbi said, you could go and tell a non-Jew to go see what you can do and save the situation. All right? Now let's give an example. Let's start with the beginning of Shabbat. We know that we light the candles, everyone according to their custom, 18 minutes before sunset. Some people do a half hour, 40 minutes, wherever you're from. But sunset comes, we're not allowed to do any more work. That's it. It's a day to just sit and enjoy and to get our batteries recharged for the whole week. And we stop working. Now, let's say I forgot to do something. I forgot to turn on the lights. I forgot to do I forgot to plug the hot plate in or something like that, whether it's a rabbinical law or a law from the rabbis or from the Torah. You're allowed to go and tell a non-Jew during the time called Ben Ashima Sha, which means that there's this in-between time. You have Shkia, you have the sunset, and you have nightfall. What happens in between? So, for Shabbat, we have to be careful. When Shabbat enters, we stop and we refrain from work from sunset. And that shady area becomes Shabbat. On Saturday night, after sunset, we wait till nightfall in order to go back to our regular weekday. Now, during the in-between time, which is for sure 10 minutes, let's say, for the 10 minutes after Shkia, I can go and tell a non-Jew, please, straight out, please turn on the lights for me in this room. I'm not allowed to do it because it's already Shabbat for me. But because mentioning and telling a non-Jew to perform this act, my speech is only a Isur D'Rabanan, which is called a Shvut. During Ben Ashima Sha, the rabbi said, we don't have to make a problem. So we already see two leniencies in the idea of telling a non-Jew. Number one, if there's a loss or something like that, the rabbi said that you could go and tell a non-Jew. Again, all these situations, you should ask your rabbi. Number two, during Ben Ashima Sha, in the shady area, is it night, is it day? Whether when Shabbat comes in or when the Shabbat's leaving us, you can go and tell a non-Jew to do a melacha for you. Now, what about when I hint to a non-Jew? We all know this, you tell the non-Jew, it's dark in here. Let's understand, when can you use that, when can't you? Now, hinting with your hands, put on the lights, or with your head, some sort of signal. That's all under the category of speaking. It's pretty much straight out. Or if before Shabbat, a person wants to be organized, he takes a bunch of index cards here, says, my dear friend, please put on the light. My dear friend, please turn off the light. My dear friend, please put on the air conditioner. My dear friend, whatever your situation is going to be. And he sees he's in a situation. He goes, he gets one of his index cards, says, hey, Mr. Non-Jew, can you please help me? I have Shabbat today. Please help me and put on and you show him the what you wrote. That's called, even though it's not your speech, but it's coming out in a straight way. How can you do it? Is if you hint. In a sort of little story. If you have a room that's totally, totally dark, the non-Jew comes in and you tell him, it's very dark in here. He comes, he turns on the switch, if he understands. You're hinting. He puts on the light for you. That's a problem. Why? Because you're having enjoyment from what you told the Jew to do, what you told the non-Jew to do. But if there's a little light in the room, there's a small little night light, or there's light coming in from outside, from the street lights, or even from the moon and the stars, it's not pitch dark. So you could have somehow gotten around it. For example, in Israel here, there's something called the lights in the stairwell. Now, they don't want to leave them all day long because they want to save energy. So you walk into the lobby, there's a small button, you press the light switch, it goes on for a minute or something like that, and it automatically goes off. Let's say a non-Jew sees you coming, says, oh, let me do a favor for this Jew. I'm going to turn on the light for him. The Jew has to go and say, I'm going to wait for a minute to see when the light shuts off. No, he's allowed to go upstairs. Why? Because he would have went upstairs anyway. He would have managed getting up the stairs. So here, when the room has a little bit light, you're allowed to hint to a non-Jew. When the room has no light at all, you're not allowed to hint to a non-Jew. Another example, the hot plate or the gas wasn't turned on before Shabbat. So here in this case, you're not allowed to tell it, or if there's if the electricity fell, there was a shortage. Now you want to go and tell him to pick up the switch. Are you allowed? Are you not allowed? So in regards to the lights, if there's enough light in the house, you're allowed to go and tell him in a hinting, in a story fashion, it's dark in my house. But if, for example, the hot plate was never on before, and now it's going to get hot and bring the food up to the temperature, even if the food was warm, but the hot plate itself was not warm, you're not allowed to tell him to put on the hot plate. Even if you tell him to flip the switch. I didn't ask, but I believe if I remember correctly, you should pull out the hot plate. Again, all these questions, there's very little details that we always have to ask the higher-ups. But yes, this question I did ask. If the food is hot, and now I tell him to plug in the hot plate or put the gas on for me, is that considered that I'm keeping, that it's like similar to the story of the light? So the rabbi said, no, only if the hot plate itself is warm. So to summarize what we spoke today, we said a general rule that our speech of Shabbat should be holy. We shouldn't speak about mundane things, about performing any melacha, and we can't have enjoyment. So even though we might be able to tell the non-Jew to do something for me, but I can't have enjoyment from what he did. In regards to telling a non-Jew to perform an act, a forbidden act, whether it's from the Torah or from the rabbis, you can't tell him to do it even from before Shabbat. But there is one thing that you can say. You can say, hey, how come last week you didn't do this for me? And he'll say, oh, he probably wants me to do this for him this week. So in regards to telling a story, we explained that if he's coming to add enjoyment, you're allowed to go and continue and have enjoyment. But if he's coming to bring, the basement is pitch dark, and I tell him, it's dark in the basement, you have to go and you have to not have enjoyment from the basement, unless, again, like we said, if there's a child that needs that has to sleep downstairs, there's nowhere else that he could sleep, he wants to sleep downstairs and it's pitch dark, you could go, you could tell the non-Jew, like we said, you could even go and tell it in a straight out way, I have a child here, he's scared to sleep in the dark, can you please help me? So we see, yes, the rabbis are here to save us, and they're not always here to push and be hard on us. And like we saw that even during Ben Ashima Sha, for example, it's the in-between time. Is it night? Is it day? The rabbi said that, yes, you can go and tell a non-Jew even to do, not to add light, to even put light to begin with, and even to put the hot plate on. Like you saw, it's a little bit confusing, these laws. So therefore, whenever we have questions, we should do our utmost best to ask our rabbis to help us. Thank you for watching. May Hashem help us and bring the light of Shabbat into our homes, to be able to keep the laws and not to transgress them ever, 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 and to continue to get close to Hashem. Amen. Thank you for watching and have a great week.